is just an eclectic mix of everything you can imagine in the art world, in the small business world. You know, it's just characters and craziness. Sculptors, painters, potters, ers and more ers. Woodworkers, it's a lot.
I have been in this building since September 14th, 1985. So it's actually over 20 years. Well, at the time, I mean, I just graduated from Emily Carr, and I loved Emily Carr so much. I said, I've got to keep doing this. I've got to create the same feeling and the same energy I had at Emily Carr in the sculpture department. So basically, I made my own little wood shop. And the idea was I was going to be a carpenter. I was going to make picket fences or kitchen cabinets or whatever to finance my art, my sculpture. And my sculpture is more like furniture and crazy stuff like that. But luckily, I didn't have to make too many kitchens or too many picket fences, so I got to do my own art. But what's cool about the building is I could expand because I was the first one in. I think I had 500 square feet when I started, and now I'm at 3,500. So I kind of moved. I took over more real estate as the business grew. So it was a perfect opportunity for me because I didn't have the money at the start to. I didn't have any power tools when I started. I had to borrow stuff.
Well, I've been here for 2 years. I have a company called Wild Rose Tattoo Shirts, and I'm the managing director here. Wear many hats. My name is Susan Setz. I'm from Alberta. Been living in BC for about 5 years now. And I decided to start printing art, mainly tattoo art, onto mesh and creating an illusion of having tattoos. And it's just getting a nice daily helping of your art.
How long? I've been since about sometime in 1984, so we're going back about 22 years. I build noisy mechanical sculpture when I'm given the opportunity. In fact, that's why I had so much junk in my studio. I could barely walk by a garbage can without saving a vacuum cleaner or bicycle or whatever it was. It was always a great source of mechanical parts.
Why do I stay in this building? Really, the people that are here I really like. I like working. I learn a lot from the other people that are here. Sometimes it's a sort of a question of where else would you go as well. It doesn't seem like there's any other building that's remotely like this, unless you get down into South Vancouver or maybe Richmond. And even there, there's a lot of it is about production, you know. It's not, there's quite a mix of artists in here and other woodworkers, so it's not like here. Last year when I moved from another place in here to here, in that intervening day before I found this place, I was like, before this spot became available, I didn't have a clue where I'd go. You know, it was almost like being homeless, you know. Everyone seems to have a bit of a sketchy idea about just how long this place has been here and just when it was built and why it was built, and you know.
I believe it's two different buildings actually, and it's joined in the middle with a sort of a bridge that was covered in over the years. And so it originally started out a building built, I believe, in 1896, and another one was added in 1904 or 1905, something like that. So these buildings are over 100 years old. Wood construction, big beams and big posts, and at one time it didn't even have any cement footings. It was all just into the dirt, and that was a long, long time ago. Started out as making beds, I believe, for World War I. I think that's what it started out making, beds and tin pans and hats and whatever, and anything else you could make. And then it went to a storage facility and then turned into an artist facility. And it was just a fluke that actually ended up as an artist facility. It had a whole bunch of space to rent, and the only people that wanted it for cheap, and it was in a kind of a bad part of town and all that, were artists. And so they started moving in, and one thing led to another. Now we have them all. All of Vancouver's artists are here.
And at that time, there was nobody in the building. There was only like 4 other people. and I had to pick up whatever floor I wanted. I remember it was just a big empty space. There was no walls. It was just columns, like, you know, the posts. And yeah, it was unbelievable. But there was no electrical, like no real lighting, no windows, nothing. It was just an empty space. And I just said, I'll take it.
That's right. I did the security guard thing for a while. Spent all my weekends from 10 till 4 a.m. wandering around the building for, I don't know, what, 2-3 years. It was really rather boring. I spent most of the time just scaring myself. You know how you walk around a large, empty building trying to be really quiet? And so like any sound I heard, it was, you know, I go and investigate, but it usually turned out to be like change in my pocket or something like that. There were a couple break-ins apparently while I was here, but I must have been at the other end of the building when it happened because I didn't have any idea.
The other thing is this building early in the morning or really late at night has really got this wonderful silence to it. The buzzing of the fluorescents and the pigeons kind of crawling along, and it's definitely, I'm not going to say romantic, but it's definitely got it's got a character to it.
It's really good. Like I said, I don't pretend to know very much at all, and maybe while you're working by yourself and that, you can kind of convince yourself that you actually do know something. But when you're with a group of people like this, you get the kind of criticism that you don't get unless you're in school, kind of thing. You know, most of it completely unsolicited too. Thank God. People that just come by and go, you do that like that? Are you an idiot? Yeah, I find that very helpful.
It's a great community of artists. I love to be around all the creativity, and plus, you know, it's just like-minded. You know, everybody helps everybody here, and yeah, I just feel like I'm in a community, and it all helps with the long days, and you know, sometimes we need each other even in this building. We can work for each other and get the job done.
The building's become kind of a community. I think we're more as a, you know, a neighborhood. It's a lot of people in a concentrated area.
Oh yeah, the city's on our back all the time. They know that the owner of this building has fairly deep pockets, and so they insist on certain things. And granted, some of them are necessary, but some of them are unnecessary. And even then, when you do all those, there isn't a bureaucrat worth his weight that would put his name on the dotted line for they don't want to lose their job, and heaven forbid they want to, you know, help the community at all. They just want to, you know, keep the status quo. So it's a bit of a hassle with them. And every time they walk through my building, it costs me money. Well, it costs my company money. It costs me work. I'm getting too old for it. They should leave me alone.
If it ended tomorrow, we would all separate. I mean, we'd all have to move on. And, you know, there was talk of we would all collectively get together and either buy a building or just do the same thing again. I don't think it would ever be the same, though, because most buildings are concrete main floor. And I like the fact that it's ratty and it's old and it's decrepit. It's got character. It's got its own energy. But I'm a big boy now. I'm definitely an adult now. When I started, I was a lot younger. I think I could handle it.
Well, I would have to find employment. I would have to find someplace else to store everything I own.
This type of businesses need this type of situation that's subsidized by some person who believes in subsidizing art, right? Because that's what it comes down to. You know, he could probably make more money renting it to somebody else, and but he's choosing to support the arts, and this is his way of doing it.
I don't know. Is it going to end? I don't know. I hope not. Not right now.